Good evening. Um, Bit of a preamble. I was watching I should speak more clearly. I was watching a video last night on Len Barry or Leonard Borisov of the Dovells in the 1950s and his two big hits, 1, 2, 3 and Like a Baby in the 60s. One of the few white guys that sounded totally convincingly black. Um, and I just sort of saw an interview with him 2 years before he died. He died in 2018, and he was looking very old and very sick. It was very sad. But it was a great little interview, and I didn't know he sort of had his fingers in a few pies over the years, and one of the ones that got my attention straight away was the Fat Larry Band. Now in Australia, that was a #1 hit. It was just on the arse end of the disco thing. I love disco. I mean, not all of it, but good disco is about as good soul or any other genre like that. You know, it's when it's done well, it's fucking friggin' terrific. It's I think it came out in about 1980, a song called Zoom, and I looked it up. As soon as I heard it, I went, "Oh God, I know this." You know, it was a big hit in Australia. I think maybe in the UK. I'm not sure. Probably. I don't think it would have made much of a mark in the US. Who knows? But that was just great. And when I looked it up, it was a great video clip on YouTube. Zoom, the official clip, the Fat Larry Band. And Fat Larry's playing the drums, and he was the original singer. But they got this other guy in, had one of those beautiful voices, you know, the Smokey Robinson, you know, along those lines, you know what I mean. Not to that quality, but close. And it's oh sorry, these are my sulphur crested cockatoo feathers. But what do you what? Um yeah, and he's got that beautiful soulful voice, and the sad thing was, and I went, yeah, I remember this. It's great. And I can't afford to buy it this week because my pension, I've got all these bills due, and oh God, it's a nightmare. But I might just take a punt. There's a couple of copies going for $5, 45s, Australian prints. With postage, will come up to 10. I might and I mightn't. But as soon as I heard Zoom, I went, oh, I love this. It was one of I used to love going to this on the way back from punk gigs in Sydney in the late 70s. I was already 10 years older than the punk crowd, you know. It's like you young guys that do your videos, you young guys in your early to mid 50s. I was sort of already pushing late 20s, let's put it that way. And I just stood at the back and kept out of the way. I was just enjoying it, but it was all right. But the thing is, I used to love getting off the train halfway home, which was a 23 station, all stops. Get out at Hurstville, and there's this wonderful pub that used to have a late night disco going. Just music, you know, DJ somewhere playing, and I used to love just going in there to chill out, you know, and songs like that. You know, Zoom came later. That's 1980, but just that. You know, I just really dug the disco people. They were so classy, you know. You know, they're sort of stupid with their tight shirts and pants and stacked heel shoes, and their, you know what I mean, afro type hair, you know, but whatever, and gold chains. But they made an effort. You know, it's a bit like that movie with John Travolta, you know. And I felt much more comfortable there because that was still, I'm a bit too old for that. But anyway, I'm waffling. Yeah, Fat Larry Band, Len Barry. Now I've got to show 3 records tonight. to you. I just wanted it. Now, I'm not one for picture discs, but this is one I had to get back in the early 80s. I didn't have a lot, but I had quite a few. Well, that's silly. I didn't have a lot, let's put it that way. And I flogged off what I had mostly. So I could not part with this. This is from 1983. I only got this side out because it's got the track listing. It's quite heavy actually. But I just love that picture of Gene Vincent. God, I love that. That's from the same photo session from their first album, which is my all-time favourite album cover of all time. God, I've got it framed. It's not an original. But my God, coolest band on the planet in the 50s. Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps. But the track listing on this is astonishingly good. It's like, it really is creme de la creme stuff. Bebopalula, Woman Love, oh, Who Slapped John, Jump Back Honey, I Got It, Double Talkin' Baby, side 1. Side 2, Blue Jean Bop, A Lot of Lovin', Dance to the Bop, Baby Blue, my favourite Gene Vincent track. Holy crap, I love that. Oh, Rocky Road Blues and Say Mama. How's that for a Gene Vincent track listing? Whew. It's just the cream. I don't know what it sounds like. I haven't played it since 1983. I think it sounded pretty reasonable actually. Picture discs from that era do tend to be a bit noisy and not exactly hi-fi, but these were mono recordings anyway. Oh look, don't get into that. I just had to buy it, and it's one I could never part with you. I just love the colours and everything. Yep. So that's one there, and to something completely different. And these are of their time. To me, that never gets old, Gene Vincent. You know, I mean, yes, it's of its time, but it's mainly acoustic. I mean, along with Eddie Cochran, my other hero. It's acoustic instruments basically. You know, or stand-up slap bass, semi-acoustic guitars. That's why they sound so friggin' good. You know, it's like jazz recordings from the same era. You get good copies of these originals. They sound so good because it's pretty much acoustic or semi-acoustic. Anyway, and getting right away from that, then we get into ultra over the top production. Ultra over the top. This album, this is a reissue from Sundays. 2004. Very heavy. One of the earliest examples of the vinyl re-emergence. This is a mono. My original was a stereo, which sounded fine. The reason why the mono is good is that it's probably a bit muddier than the stereo, but it's got more grunt. I won't say anything else. But of course, produced and directed by Shadow Morton. You know, the Shangri-Las. From the Shangri-Las to Vanilla Fudge in the space of a few years, not many. But this, you cannot, I'm 71, you cannot imagine how bloody important this album was in 1967, 68. I think 67. You cannot imagine. This was mind-blowing. What was, you know, after Sgt. Pepper's and that, this one was like the cover, number one. The guys looked so square. That was the funny thing. When you saw them, you went, what the fuck? What a bunch of ho-dads. You know, they look so wrong, and yet this is one of them. This is probably the most psychedelic album ever made. The reimagining of Ticket to Ride, People Get Ready, She's Not There, and Bang Bang, side one. Side two, Illusions of My Childhood, part one, You Keep Me Hanging On, the hit single. Illusions of My Childhood, part two, Take Me for a Little While. Illusions of My Childhood, part three, and Eleanor Rigby. Oh, Christ. This is a masterpiece. It's of its time, and to someone that never heard it at the time, or they'd play it and they go, oh, well, I don't know. Just believe me, trust me, this album was mind-bogglingly original. It was awesome. And it still is, because I remember what it sounded like when I first heard it. And it was just, wow, you know. Now, I think they made 2 or 3 other albums after this which were disappointing. I didn't buy them. I bought that when it came out with hard-earned pocket money, and my mates bought the next 1 or 2 albums, and they weren't as good. But then I bought this, and I think this was 69 or 70. 69, which is only 2 years later. But back then, when you're a teenager, 2 years back then, music changed every 6 months. You'd almost time it. Yep, time to change. And from that to this, you just went, oh my God, Vanilla Fudge, are they still around? You know, because Led Zeppelin was huge in 69, and you know, and they look a little bit more with it now. Finally, sort of caught up. But this is a kick-ass bloody album, mate. Shit cover. Go from 67, that is like an iconic album cover, iconic, to that. Well, I don't know. I suppose it ain't so bad. It got my attention. I did buy it. Rock and roll, but it's not rock and roll. It's better than that. I mean, I'm not knocking rock and roll, but this is almost as good as that first album. This is a great album. Need Love. See, these are all not all their own songs, but Need Love, it was written by the band. Lord in the Country is a great track. That's written by the band. I Can't Make It Alone, Goffin and King song. Street Walking Woman, written by the band, side one. Church Bells of St. Martin's, side two, written by the band. The Windmills of Your Mind, a classic track by Bergman and Legrand. And If You Got to Make a Fool of Somebody, that beautiful old soul track written by Rudy Clark. All I can say is this one it's great. It was a real surprise. I bought it in Sydney and up in one of the cheap import shops up there. I dropped round my mate's place and I brought it. And I said, "Hey, look at this!" And they go, "Oh, Vanilla Fudge. That was like last year or something." And I said, "Oh well, let's put it on." And we all just went, "What?" I mean, it's not a drastic change from the first album, but it's not as obviously psychedelic. It's moving in a bit more of a. It's sort of like a mature version of the first album, sort of thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. All I can say is, if you see this little fella floating around, and if you'd never seen the video and you'd go, Vanilla Fudge rock and roll, I don't think that's really any good. It's actually damn good. That will do. What else? Pardon me. No, I think that's enough. I've waffled for too long. Uru.